Doris Lessing and Erich Fried were both members of the Communist Party and would have both left at the same time after Khrushchev's devastating speech on Stalin, which was called something like the cult of personality and its consequences. And actually a lot of people committed suicide and had heart attacks, but many just left the Communist Party. And I'm not sure if this actually is Erich, but if it's not, it should be, because it's very much in his, it's very much his tone, she mentions here. So this is dated 11th of August 1956, and the Khrushchev speech, I think, was in February early that year. So last night, I was at a meeting which went on till early morning. Towards the end, a man who had not spoken before, a socialist from Austria, made a short humorous speech, something like this. My dear comrades, I have been listening to you, amazed at the wells of faith in human beings. What you are saying amounts to this, that you know the leadership of the British CP consists of men and women totally corrupted by years of work in Stalin's atmosphere. You know they will do anything to maintain their position. You know, because you have given 100 examples of it here this evening, that they suppress resolutions, rig ballots, pack meetings, lie and twist. There is no way of getting them out of office by democratic means, partly because they are unscrupulous, and partly because half the party members are too innocent to believe their leaders are capable of such trickery. But every time you reach this point in your deliberations, you stop, and instead of drawing the obvious conclusions from what you have said, you go off into some daydream and talk as if all you had to do is to appeal to the leading comrades to resign all at once, because it would be in the interests of the party if they did. It is as if you propose to appeal to a professional burglar to retire because his efficiency was giving his profession a bad name. We all laughed, but continued with the discussion. The humorism which he used absolved him, as it were, from the necessity of a serious answer. Afterwards, I thought about it. Long ago, I decided that at a political meeting, the truth usually comes out in such a speech, or a remark ignored at the time because its tone is not that of the meeting. Humorous or satirical, or even angry and bitter, yet it's the truth, and all the long speeches and contributions are nonsense. So, I'm going to read a couple of short poems of mine. I always have really admired Erich's very short pieces, epigraphic pieces, and they're very easy to keep in your mind. And so here's a couple of mine anyway. The rule. For every rule, there must be at least one exception, though this need not be always the rule. Demons. I wrote this for a friend of mine who has bipolar. As I face my demons day on day, or night on night, they melt away. Then one by one return quite charming for an orgy of self-calm. This one, is there anybody there? Just be yourself. But what if after all you find there's no one there? Then you may find some comfort there. For if really no one is there, you'll never find out. Yeah, I haven't looked at it. I've got to do my glasses with that. So, anyway, I'll try that. This is a new poem. This is years ago I wrote a poem for Erich called Stealing Blackberries, and this is kind of alludes to it in several ways. Anyway, Whitechapel Brambles. A bramble's purpose is to conquer the earth, scrambling up from a patch of waste ground, through the barbed wire that crowns the high fence, inching its fruit to the pavement, all star clustered and drifting berry blossom as birds balance or swoop to the prize. A scrap of black plastic from a shopping bag that floated up from the market, snagged on a bar until the wind tore it loose. The little kids, the kites the little kids on my street used to fly, a blue bag on a string, going up and away before everyone was hypnotized by handheld devices. A young woman is wailing, "He's stolen my BlackBerry." Some thorny-fingered street thief just jacked her phone, but he's soon chased down by a couple of guys coming out from the mosque after evening prayers. They haul him to the ground, retrieve her phone, and, with a cuff round the head, let the thief go. A black star cluster that pulls you in to its realms of faintly shimmering drupelets as you become bramble, pure bramble mind. I gaze into the abyss of my smartphone, and my smartphone gazes back into me. Bramble, ramble, bramble, ramble, amble. And I've got here I made a collage of 3 of Erich's poems, which I like very much. It's got the knobs on it, you can see. So I'll read this first time. So yeah, this is 3 of Erich's poems. 2 are translated by Stuart Hood, and 1 is a adaptation of my own translation. I climb the steps to my door in wet mist. Water rises in the sewers. They whip it fast and loud. It is madness that's releasing. I climb up my winding way to school in the pouring rain. The gutters foam down to the river. It is what it is, says love. They who whip men and women and animals whip the foam they hope will drown the foam of the waves, the spray that flew up weightless to the moon long before the first dreams of astronauts. It is unhappiness, say the prospections. It is nothing but pain, says the fear. And the foam is bloody, poisonous salt bubbles whipped into towering ringlets, out of the water dirty from all the efforts to wash us clean. It has no future, says insight. I climb up to the wooded hill north of the town in the cloudburst. The waves from the plain tear the grass from the slope. I climb up into the black beams of the lookout. Irresistibly, the sea falls on me and overwhelms me. Cold blood, flakes of red snow on the endless furrows of the ebb tide, on the pillars of the forest. I too wounded myself on the blade of the vortex of light. It is what it is, says love. I hold fast to the boughs of a drifting tree. It rises and falls with the flood. The chariot of silver and copper, the prow of steel and silver, the supersonic plane of mathematical formulae and gleaming polished prophets, they all help to whip it. It is laughable, says pride. The weary bird leaves in its beak, cowers on a twig. It is foolishness, says wariness. Is there still hope then that I too may not begin to foam, but once more see the foam of the surf, the foam of the waterfall? Bird's flesh stills hunger, the bones fall into the sea. Is there really hope that the world will last longer than all these wounds from the whips of men? It is impossible, says experience. Bloody olive leaves sail, feathers drift and fish fly. I am thirsty. It is what